And I remember him just speeding. And
The most embarrassing moment that I think I had on set. That was so horrible.
I'm alone in the studio today. Andrew is off this week, but he'll be back next week. Today, I'm joined by someone who I've been wanting to get on the podcast for a while. I'm calling him the guest co-host for this episode. Brandon, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
You make movies, make short films. What
Yeah.
do you tell me everything you do?
Oh, dude. Yeah, I've been trying to do short films. What has it been? 15 years now? I know we've been trying to make stuff together and everything. Just making little short films, just write them out. Writer, producer, director. As far as financing everything, don't really have anybody that's financed it, so it's all come out of my pocket. But
Yeah, dude.
you gotta try your best. You gotta push content out there, even if it's done completely, entirely by yourself. You still gotta do your best with it.
Yeah, so I'd say it's been about like was it about 15 years ago that I'd say about 10 years ago we worked on some movies together. I don't remember if I did a movie first and then brought you on to the second one, or if we both worked on our first movie together.
No, I remember you worked on Christian's Carol first, and then we both worked on Worth Fighting For together.
Worth fighting for. Let's see. I would have been like 22, so this was like 10 years ago, and I remember I was trying to make my first movie, and I was just struggling finding anybody around here to do, to want to do a movie, and I remember finding a makeup artist who was totally down to do it, but she said, I can't do your movie right now. I have to do it a little later because I'm doing someone else's movie around here. And I was like, someone else's movie around here? Who else is doing a movie around here? And so she was like, well, go talk to this person. And so I did, and I got the job working on that my first movie. And so then I don't remember how I met you, but when I found out that you wanted to make movies, I was like, dude, I got the hook up. And we ended up both coming together to make the next movie, which was a movie called Worth Fighting For. I think it's available on Amazon. I don't know. I'm not going to plug that today. That was a long time ago.
Trust me, you don't want to watch it. You really
Publicly shading it. That's okay. It was, let's just say it was an interesting experience on set. But it was a super low budget movie in a super small town. But positives though, like I don't know about you, but I learned really how to do video and how to like make movies on that set on those two movies because I don't know. There's just one thing about knowing what to do versus seeing it like in person, seeing it done. It's just different. So like it kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I learned what not to do on a lot of stuff on there. Um, but like honestly, it really was a really good eye opener on how to handle the filmmaking process, going from pre-production to production. And I didn't really get to see any post-production on that. The director kind of handled everything himself and didn't really let anybody see any behind the scenes on that part. But actually reading the script, going from the words on the page into actually seeing it on set and seeing it happen for real, um, it was a really good way of having that transition go from you know just thoughts in your head to visualizations that you have, that you're writing everything down on these pieces of paper and everything, going from that to actually having a real life person on screen that is that character in your movie. And it was kind of cool to see how to handle that transition between pre-production and going into actual production.
Yeah, definitely. And I got lucky. I ended up being on set with you, and we did a lot of audio stuff on set, and I think you got to do some camera stuff. So did I. The director did hire a dude for the second movie, and I reached out to that guy on my own, the sound guy, the music composer dude. I was like, I want to see, the other end of this process. I want to see the sound. I want to see how you're doing the music. Um, And I remember having my mind blown. Those movies, just going through all of that, just let me know for sure that audio video production is just what I just fell in love with it.
You're wanting to talk about funny moments on set, and mentioning audio reminded me of the time that we were recording in somebody's house, filming a scene there, and I was doing audio, I had them on my headphones and everything, and I was recording on this. I don't even know if I have the recorder. No, it's out somewhere else. I had this little audio recorder I was holding, and you hit the play button and it starts doing the playback of what you just recorded. I didn't realize that I hit the play button on there, so I thought they were acting out the scene. I was just sitting there all quiet, and
Like, yeah, so it's like this basically. Like when you're doing audio on a film, you've seen the guys wearing the headphones, and instead of these microphones, you have the microphones that go over at the top of the actors' heads, and that's what we hear in our ears. Yeah, this day, and so the actor or the director will yell like sound, and we have to say speeding really loud to let them know that the audio's good, that we're ready to go. Yeah, this dude hit the play button. So he was hearing the scene we just recorded, but it sounds so good. He thought he was hearing like what was going on around him. So, dude, when he heard the director yell sound on the recording, he thought it was going on in real life. And I remember him just speeding. And
the most embarrassing moment that I think I had on set, that was so horrible.
dude, I immediately knew what had happened, and I was like, "Oh, that is golden. That's great."
Talk about wanting to hide in a hole in a corner for the rest of the time you're there. I did not want anybody else to see me.
Dude, you're so embarrassed, and
The time that you were on audio, was it audio or was it you were on camera? I think it was audio though. And when we were in Annie's,
oh yeah, audio.
and oh, dude, I remember that was the day that you wanted to just walk out and never come back.
Are you talking about the time that the lead actor walked out of this off the set? Was that what you're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, the lead actor, I don't want to name names because he actually is still successful. He did find success, and he's still acting a lot on television. So I won't name him, but he was intense, super intense guy, and he was making a big deal about the scene coming up. He really had to get into the emotion of the scene, and I'm not an actor, so that's fine. I let him, stay away from him, let him get in the zone. Well, he was really worried about this scene. And yeah, about midway through his really, really emotional, dramatic monologue that he was doing, I messed up the sound. Yeah, it cut out halfway through, and I was just in panic mode, and so I didn't know what to do, so I just kind of was like, just did that until the end of the scene. And the director was like, cut, awesome, sounds good, all right. And the actor was like, yes, oh, that was a good one. And I was just kind of like, no, it wasn't, because the sound cut out. I think what it was is the memory card we were doing sound to filled up. But this dude storms out off set, slams the door to the set. The director runs after him like, no, come back. And I remember just like those kind of moments, because everyone knows I was the sound dude. Like I was the guy who pressed record, and it's my fault. I mean, I couldn't help that we didn't know how much memory we had left, but I guess I should have been like, wait, stop. But who knows? He might have been just as mad if I would have done that too. But anyways, yeah, he came back on set like probably like 30 minutes later, dude. We just sat there for 30 minutes like, did we just ruin the movie? Because this dude, they were like flying him in from another state and paying for him to stay here. Like it actually had a budget. This was some money that they were burning. And like this guy, he was a lot. But yeah, that day I just wanted to be like, maybe this isn't for me. But obviously that feeling passed, and still doing it. It's really tough to have a passion for this kind of stuff and to really, really love doing this stuff, like doing videos, working with this kind of stuff, because it's an industry that you really kind of have to be someone who does put themselves out there and markets themselves like this, like on a podcast. Just because, I mean, it's not like being an accountant where you go get your degree and you apply for accounting jobs and there you go, you've reached your goal. You wanted to be an accountant, now you're an accountant. It just doesn't work like that when in this industry, and it's just it can be really tough. To 99.9% of people, unless you start off rich somehow, you have to grind away at another full-time job while you pursue things like this.
And see, that's what makes it so hard to do filming, especially whenever it comes down to the small to no budget kind of filming, is that you do have to work that full time job and you know
Yeah,
pay your bills and all this other stuff. But not only that, that money that you're paying your bills for and everything, you also have to fund these movies, and not only do you have to fund the movies, but while working that full time job, you have to make your own time to be able to sit down and write the scripts and go out and find locations and find the actors and just make time, which is so difficult. It limits a lot of small to no budget filmmaking to nighttime films, and honestly, that gets kind of old after a while. You
yeah,
need to have some day shots.
yeah, man. I mean, like, well, the only way I pulled off working on those movies back in the day was I was working security at night. I was doing night shift as a security guard, and I remember getting off at, I think it was 5 in the morning was when that shift ended. Would go to my little apartment, lay down on the couch for a couple hours, drive 30 minutes to the set where we would pull a 30 or a 12-hour day. And I remember one day I had done a night shift and then gone with like 2 hours of sleep, done all day long filming. And I remember getting a ride home in someone's car, and I was just sleeping in the passenger seat for that 30 minutes home, knowing when I got home I had to get dressed and go back to work with a total of that 30-minute nap, and that's all I got. And I had to do the night shift again, and then come back to work on the set the next day. It just never ended, but that's what you got to do if you want even a semblance of it's hard to say success because we didn't gain much from that. We gained knowledge from doing those jobs. And the thing about it is, with this podcast, for example, so we have the audio on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you name it. The video, the full video that I put on YouTube, and then I'll chop it up into really short clips for things like TikTok and Facebook Reels and Instagram Shorts, or YouTube Shorts. Everyone has a short thing now. And then I make mid-size, like, it's a full-time job. I'm doing a full-time job on top of another full-time job. And this is what I hear a lot, and this is, in my opinion, the wrong way to think. People think, well, why are you working so hard right now? You have like probably 5 people that listen that aren't like family and friends. You have like 5 subscribers. And I'm like, if I don't act like I have 100,000 subscribers right now, I'm not going to get 100,000 subscribers. It's like saying, oh, I'll study once I make the A honor roll. I'll start studying when I make the dean's list. Well, no, you're not going to get there if you don't study. Like, that's not how
That
it
is
works.
absolutely correct.
Right.
Absolutely correct.
So that's what really gets a lot of people. They're like, I'm not going to do all this work for 3 people to see my TikTok. And it's like, well, then it'll only be 3 people that ever see your TikTok. Then I'm just saying TikTok, YouTube, whatever you're on.
I completely agree with that. I mean, if you act like you have 100,000 subscribers, that's how you get 100,000 subscribers. It doesn't
Right.
just, I mean, for some people, it might happen by accident. You just put out something funny that you and your friends are out messing around and everything. But I mean, if you really want to make it and everything, you have to put your stuff out there, like you have the followers, the viewers, the subscribers that you're intending to get.
Yeah, and it's been difficult. Like I said, we were literally kids. I mean, I know you're a teenager, and I was like 22. Um, and a decade later, we're still going. I think we both had a break period in there. I know I went like years without touching a camera. Um, After that, I planned to move away to like Atlanta, Georgia, like which is kind of becoming like the new Hollywood, and I didn't do it, and we kind of just fell into really not doing anything for a while. I know you probably did. I don't know. There was that period where we just kind of said, you know, it's just too tough, and so we
Yeah, I
kind of
mean,
just focused on working our day jobs. But
I I kind of took a little bit of a break, kind of take a step back from, I guess, dreamland, dreaming about everything. Focus on, yeah, my fiance at the time. We did a house remodel and everything, and just trying to get in the gear of like real life stuff, and kind of put filming and that kind of stuff on the back burner as more of a hobby than it was like a real life passion goal that you're actively trying to shoot for. Um, because I mean, it's fun and everything. It's awesome. Love doing it. I'm just like the podcast. I'm honored. I love being a part of, doing this. This is so much fun. I love sitting there and, I mean, watching the videos, listening to the audio and everything. Um, but I had to take a step back and really focus on real life stuff, and make sure I have a good running car and a nice home to live in and everything like that. And only recently have I really kind of dabbled back into it and done really anything with it.
it's kind of the same for me. So we did those two movies. I actually did one more. Um, it's just kind of random. So I found someone found me somehow, and I ended up doing some audio for them. But so that brings the grand total of I did three movies on as a crew member. You know, Messed around in the studio with that dude making some. We did the movie audio, but then after the movie ended, I stayed around for a little bit and um, helped him out with some musicians that would come through. But ultimately, kind of led to nothing. Besides knowledge. And so I just kind of gave it up, and I was kind of like, you know what? I kind of said to myself, like, I can either chase this or I can have a normal life. So I said, I'll try that. You gotta, I kind of looked at it as I've tried that side of things. Let me try to be normal for a little bit. And I tried that for a long time. Tried school, tried just focusing on my job, and I did good stuff. I did a lot of stuff in my security career that I thought was awesome. I had a lot of really cool experiences doing security. Got into some really interesting stuff in that field, but I think it was, I'll think about 2 or 3 years ago. I was just like, okay, I had to have something going on. So we booted up the podcast. I just recently started helping you with a short film that were working on, and as far as I know, still working on like at this time.
Yep. I
So
still am. I just have one more scene to shoot, and I need to find like the perfect location for it. But I'm not gonna shoot it until I find that location,
right.
because, yeah, like you were saying, you gotta find that perfection for something if you really want it to make it somewhere to really take off.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, if if you don't act as if this is going to be seen by 1,000 people, then it won't. That's my belief. And obviously, yeah, we live in a day and age where you can post a video of your cat and get 5 million views if it's funny. But those 5 million views, how many of them are coming back for your next video? Um, Viral does not mean what people think it does. We posted a clip the other day that got 30,000 views almost. But is that 30,000 fans that are going to return to the next episode? No. It's a constant grind, and um, yeah, you know.
Which, I mean, you will absolutely get there. I feel it in the bottom of my heart that you'll make it there. I mean, this podcast is high quality and everything. Like I said, I love listening to it. I'll be at work driving around all day, and this is what I'm listening to. I'm listening to it while I'm working, and it's so much fun. Like, even if I was somebody that didn't know you, I would love to sit down and listen to the crazy stories and just the chemistry that everybody has, and they all work together and it flows so well. And I think that's what really separates this from other podcasts and other types of media that's out there.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that. It's I was wondering where all those views came from. It's you driving around in your car all day. But no, it's fun,
I just
dude.
have it
Like
set on repeat.
yeah, exactly. But dude, it's so fun. Like, like I said, like I'm still doing the day job, obviously, full time job, got a family to feed, and that's going to continue, obviously. I'm going to give it my best. But, we get such a short amount of time, like here on earth, like we really don't realize. Even if you live to be 80 years old, you'd be surprised how quickly that goes by. Um, you
I
have
can't
got to
believe
do
it.
your
We're already here
passion.
at 30.
Yeah, dude, we're knocking on. I'm 32. What are you knocking on the door? 30? What are you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm about to be 28. I mean, like we're literally right there at a third of our life already. It's wild. It's crazy to think about and seeing how far we've come and how far we still have to go.
Exactly. I mean, it's I think about time all the time. um, it's time is so weird to me. Like I was watching. I love watching home movies. Not the show. There's a show called Home Movies. It's great. You should watch it. But I mean like actual home movies. My dad made a point. My dad and my grandparents always made a point to film stuff, which for us old people that was taking an actual camera and sticking a VHS tape into it. So my dad got all those converted over to digital, and I've been going through it. And I remember seeing a video of my dad cooking out, like grilling out in front of his house, and there was me as a little kid running around in the video, and I remember that day very, very well, like it was yesterday. I remember it, and um, I asked my dad. I was like, "How old were you in this video?" Because to me, you look at your parents. Your parents have always been your parents. They're old. They've always been old to you. They've always been grown-ups to you. Even when you're an adult now, you still look up to them as. So I was like, "How old were you in this video?" And he was like, "I'm younger than you are now in this video." I was like, 30, and now you're 32. Kind of trips me out a little bit, and it does not feel like that much time has gone by at all, dude. Like at all, like that. So that leads me to believe the next 30 years are gonna rocket by, which means blink and we're gonna be 60.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean,
Because in this same video later on in the video, my grandfather comes in this whole movie, and I turned to my dad and I said, "You are as old now as our grandfather was in this video. You're that old now, because that now he's in his 50s, and my grandfather was in his 50s in that video. So I was like, now you're as old as my," and so he had the same effect. Like, oh my god, like he kind of had the realization that he's become his father, and now I've become my dad, older than my dad was in that video. It's weird. It just feels weird because to us, like it's still me. I'm still that kid. I'm not my dad, but when you think about it, well, I have a kid and a career, and oh my god, I am like my dad. Like I'm not a little kid anymore. That 30 years did
I mean,
go by.
like if you're with yourself, like how old do you feel right now? And you don't feel like you're in your 30s, I'm sure.
No, no, like I don't feel. There's never, as a kid, I guess you always look at your parents and you just kind of imagine that there'll be this day when you're like, one day we'll just be like, oh, we're parents now. We've gotten it. No, dude, I'm still that kid running around at the at the cookout in the home movie. Like and now I realize my parents felt like this too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they were like any kind of the fear of time or just life in general, like raising you is they felt that same exact fear that you feel now. But it's I don't mean to like discredit them or anything, but it's probably a little bit more harsh for you because of the age of technology now and how much access we have to stuff. Like I said, no discredit to anything that they went through. Um, the lack of technology was probably also terrifying to them because it's not like they could just pick up a phone and call you and be like, hey, where you at? You actually had to know where they are. They had a friend's house where you can call the home phone and go talk to the parents there. It's not like it's just as connected, but
Oh,
technology in that sense is terrifying and helpful at the same time.
oh yeah, dude. My daughter is gonna grow up in a completely different world.
Just think about it.
Whereas,
She's just like you grew up watching VHS movies. She'll have no idea what any
oh,
of that is.
exactly,
Like everything would be streaming for her.
exactly.
DVDs, no clue.
Yeah, dude. Like I think it was. I don't know if it was. I think it was. I think it was Norm Macdonald, the late Norm Macdonald. I really enjoyed him. I think he had a joke basically that said, you know, us growing up, we're like, hey, look at this picture of my, great grandfather. We have two pictures of him, during his life. Because back then, getting a picture made was, it took a day, it took a whole day to get a picture done. Our grandchildren will be like, hey, you want to see what my grandfather did every day of his life on his Instagram? Like, it's just going to be such a different world. Like, they're going to have 10, well, now 4K videos of everything we've done together in the palm of your hand. Um, so
Catch you
weird.
lacking in 4K.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's in 4K. Um, but it's weird, dude. Sometimes I was like, man, what is my daughter gonna grow up in? Like this world is kind of stinks, man. Like I don't know. Everyone's childhood is nostalgic, I guess. Whether you grew up in the '90s watching, 90s Nickelodeon shows, and maybe when my daughter is my age, there won't be a TikTok anymore, and she'll be like, I remember the days when we used to watch TikTok. I don't know. Who knows? But
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about nostalgia and everything, that got me thinking. Whenever you're talking about the home movies and
mm,
everything, is like, dude, whenever like our children grow up and all, um, well, whenever I have kids to be able to grow up, uh, like they're gonna grow up not knowing what like Dexter's Laboratory was or Courage the Cowardly Dog, Powerpuff Girls, any of that stuff. And like I look back on that stuff and I was like, dude, that was some of the best quality cartoons that there is out there. And I'm sure even a lot of people that's gonna watch this on TikTok, like no hate, no disrespect or anything, but like you guys gotta go check those videos out. Those
right,
old cartoons, like they were so good. Quality shows.
dude. I remember so much good times. Like you know, it is kind of weird how like you pop up a 30-second ad on a show on a streaming service, people lose their mind. Like, oh, ads. Man, we used to sit through 5 minutes of those in between, like 5 minutes of your favorite show and then 5 minutes of ads. And like, but
Dude, not even to mention like those late night, like the Shirley Temple box DVD set, like infomercials we used to sit through
yes.
between shows.
Oh, dude. I actually called one time and got one of those CDs. I got Buzz Ballads. Go look up Buzz Ballads, classic rock, 90s rock. But yeah, man. I remember, and movies are still a thing. Movie theaters they're hanging in there. Um, but man, I remember when Jimmy Neutron came out
Oh,
as a
Jimmy
movie
Neutron.
first. It was a movie. It was a movie first. Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
Really? Was it?
Yep, yep. It was a movie, and I went to go see that with my grandparents. My grandparents took me, and I almost peed myself laughing because I was a kid. I was a little kid. Thought it was hilarious. And
I thought they made the show and then made the movie. I didn't know it was a movie first. It's kind of cool.
yeah, movie first. Not a lot of people know that. And then when they announced the show, like I caught every episode, but Good Burger 2 is coming out, and Good Burger, the first Good Burger, I cannot explain to you how many times I watched that. Um,
That
Keenan and
movie was
Kel.
childhood.
Oh, did you ever watch Keenan and Kel, or did you just watch Good Burger?
I never watched Kenan and Kel, like the show, which I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that. I know I am, but I loved Good Burger. It was such a good movie.
Oh, dude, let me
I
tell
think I
you,
have it on Blu-ray somewhere.
dude, go to I think it's Netflix, dude. Watch you some Keenan and Kel, man. Like I thought it was nostalgia. It's partially my dumb humor, but I thought it was nostalgia, so I went back and watched it on Netflix when they got it on Netflix. Still good, dude. They are amazing. So for them to be teaming back up for Keenan and Kel, for Good Burger 2, dude, I'm stunned because Keenan went off to do Saturday Night Live, and Kel's kind of been in the shadows, and for them to pop out and do Good Burger 2. But yeah, dude, go watch Keenan and Kel. It's
I will
good.
absolutely, I will
Netflix.
absolutely go do that. Netflix, you got it.
Thanks so much for coming on with me, dude. Like, I know it's a different format this week because it's just me, but it's been super awesome having you as a guest host.
Dude, I've loved being here. Like I said, I've loved watching and listening to everything, and it's such an awesome feeling of being able to be on the show.